About a story that is lighting up our Facebook page. It's the NFL protest. More than 100,000 reactions in just the last 3 days. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let me introduce tonight's think tank, which is our panel of really smart, passionate people. Of course, Natisha Lance is here with us, but we have with us Mark Zinno. You may recognize him from our Sports Extra show as well. Active Georgia National Guard, host of the Hazard Ground podcast. Also knows a lot about sports. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Also with us, Dr. Andre Gillespie, political science professor at Emory, our go-to political expert, and my old college buddy, Darren Kagan, former CNN anchor, CNN
have to say
Sports.
Old, Vinny.
Old.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
No way to welcome a lady.
All right. Let me start with all these images that we're seeing. I'll start with you, active National Guard. How do you feel when you see these players during the national anthem taking a knee?
Now, personally, I hate the fact that they're using the anthem, but I get it, and I totally respect it, and I empathize with the cause, and I think that's the most important thing. But what's happened here is this whole thing has been conflated into something that it was never meant to be. And that really is the problem here, because it was about social injustice, it was about, racial inequality and police brutality, but now it's about, more than anything, after the president got involved, it's all anti-Trump. And that's really where most of the motivation came from.
Are you saying it's anti-Trump, or is it really people coming together? I mean, it's my job to focus on positive and uplifting things. That's what I do on my website. I see unity. I mean, you've been in a locker room. I covered sports for 3 years for CNN. Locker rooms are really diverse places. And when you can see these kind of pictures of people from so many different places coming together, just to say I support you no matter what your stance is, there are actually positive things coming out of what's being portrayed as a very negative situation.
But I also think there's this larger story about patriotism here and about whether or not you can dissent and be patriotic at the same time. And that's the thing that I think has been really, really troubling about this whole thing. Just because people are questioning social injustice because they believe in America and they want America to live up to her ideals doesn't necessarily mean that they are intending to disrespect the flag. And so I want to respect those who think that this might not be the appropriate way to do that, but they really are trying to hold America accountable to the ideals that she professes.
Here's and we've been polling our viewers, right, on Facebook. The latest one was, will you stop watching the NFL if these protests continue? And just like last night, look at this, 64% say yes, 36% say no.
For how long, I wonder?
Yeah. They're full of it. They're full because
you don't think they're being honest.
If the Falcons end up in the Super Bowl in February, everybody in Atlanta's watching.
Right. But are those 64% upset with what's happening?
They'll forget all about it the Super Bowl Sunday. I can guarantee you that much.
Well, I mean, I take this poll with a grain of salt because it's an opt-in poll. It's not scientific.
Our professor speaking.
So because it's not scientific, I don't think that that's necessarily representative of the United States. There have been other polls that have suggested that the country is divided. It's divided along partisan lines about this question. It's divided along racial lines along this question. So we've got to figure out how to talk to each other.
How about this, though? Which is having more of an impact on society? The protests or the president's reaction to the protests?
Well, I mean, I'd like to talk about the impact and kind of go back to your idea of quitting football. You know what? Power to you. So what my challenge would be, so what are you going to do with that time? I think a lot of this social media and all that, it's cheap. It's really cheap and it's really easy.
You're looking for more commitment.
More commitment. We have
How about more time? We're going to have more time
in
a few minutes. We're going to come back and talk more about this. We're also going to talk about it after the show on Facebook Live.